adeno. And then whatever is the morphology, that actually differentiates it into variants. Okay? Now, prognosis-wise, it's the same. What do? You need to stage. Okay? So the images that I have shown you, I have actually shown you an example of HSIL, and I also showed you a while ago an example of extension into the rectum and into the bladder. So those cases are examples of stage 4. When you have the higher the stage, like any other organ, the poorer is the prognosis. Your patients will usually ask you how long. How long? That is the difficult question to answer. That is why sometimes I love patho. Bakit? I don't have to answer how long. Diba? Because it's the job of the surgeons or the oncologists to tell them that. The patho is the field of specialization that does not talk to patient. So kung ayaw mo mag-explain, nagbabasa ka mag-isa, yun ang gusto mong gawin, wala kang masyadong kausap, ang pasyente mo nakamount sa slide, patho ka dapat. Okay? Hindi ako ayoko ng patho dati. Ang gusto ko talaga is OB. Kasi, ba't ako lumipat? Well, after I finished my medical degree, MD, nag-license ako, MD, nag-marriage degree rin ako. Okay? So, in short, nag-double MD ako. And on my first year after passing the medical board exam, may asawa na ako. And I'm having my first child, my son. So, in short, mahirap mag-OB. Kasi, naisip ko din that if I'm going to do OB, and I'm a consultant, in a hospital with no residents, I'm going to do labor watch. Tutunan nyo yan pag nag-third year and fourth year kayo. Hintayin ko manganak ang pasyente. Diba? Hindi ko ma-predict ang oras ng trabaho ko. It can be night time and all. And I wanna do, a little of, in your generation, this is what you call as work-life balance. In patho, I can control it because the slides are actually the patients. The turnaround time is 3 to 5 days. So you can actually work like once a week. Hatawin mo lahat ng kailangan mong basahin, and that's it. You only work daytime, pwede rin. You wanna work nighttime, pwede rin. Because the lab does not close. So in short, time management is easier because we don't do rounds. We don't do ad-con. Okay? The patient can wait. We don't do regular clinics. So, in short, wala kaming holiday is holiday. Like Tuesday is a holiday. Okay? Valentine's Day is a holiday. Kahit hindi siya dineclare. Because you can compress work schedule from Monday to Friday. Okay? Pero kung clinician ka, hindi. Diba? Maghahabang ka maghihintay ka ng pasyente sa clinic, hintay kang punta. Kami, basta buhay ang ospital, buhay kami because the specimens are actually coming in. Okay? So, ito na tayo. Pap smear. We read pap smear. How old? So, I emphasize to. 21. Lahat kayo, pasok. Tama? So, dapat lahat kayo pasyente ko. Lahat ng babae dito. Dapat pasyente ko. You should have your pap smear as early as 21. If you do not have symptoms, you should do it every 3 years with onset of sexual activity or at least routinely. As you go up, your age should be more often. It's actually because pap smear is a good screening tool. It is a monitoring tool so that it can detect early lesions. Like what? Like LCIL. Diba yun yung inusap natin kanina? So when you go home, ask your mom also, when was your last pumps? Okay? Next, uterus. When do we get specimens from the uterus? Usually, the cause is abnormal uterine bleeding or DUB, dysfunctional uterine bleeding. But before I go there, I would like to go back first to normal. So, what is the typical scenario? When you submit the specimen to us, we need to have the following data. One is the LMP. 2 is the finding of the transvaginal ultrasound. So how do you go about with your patient? Usually, you do a pap smear, kung nasusundan niyo ako, then you do a biopsy, then you do an ultrasound. Okay? Ultrasound muna bago ka mag-biopsy. So, pag endometrium ang sample, it is called DNC. Ano yun? Dilatation and curettage. The OB dilates the cervix, insert the curette into the cervix, and basically do curettings, scraping it. That's why the specimen that goes to us is what you call as endometrial scrapings or endometrial curettings. Okay? Now, we correlate the LMP with what we see on the tissues. As I have said, we don't talk to patients. We talk to fellow doctors. So for example, the OB says that the LMP, the tissue should be on the proliferative phase. When you say proliferative, it is predominantly estrogen, right? What I need to see when you're in the proliferative should be tubular-shaped glands like this. The glands are tubular, the stroma is somewhat dense, and the lining epithelium is single-layer columnar. Okay, so again, that actually emphasizes again proliferative endometrium. In your book, it is actually describing it in like 2 to 3 pages. But this one, the next phase is secretory. When you do secretory, you are actually dealing with progesterone. Progesterone, as an effect, secretory phase is divided into 3. One is what you call as early secretory. Okay? How do you know it's early? Look at the cytoplasmic vacuolation. The cytoplasmic vacuolation is on the outside. Okay? Now, if it is actually going now into your mid-cycle, the vacuolation is basically going inside. So this time, as you can see, mid-secretory is in the lumen. And then eventually, it is late secretory, as you can see here, when it is basically lining already your lumen. So in short, even though we did not perform the speculum, we know what the cycle is. So that is actually how our specialty works. Now, if you are having menstrual endometrium, we are supposed to see fragmented glands, hemorrhage. Why? Because you are shedding. Okay? You are shedding, and this is what we are supposed to see histologically. So, paano papasok yun? Example, I want to emphasize at this point now that when you do your transvaginal ultrasound, also do your preg test. Okay? Again, especially for reproductive women, never skip that. Why? Because, for example, nag-transvaginal ultrasound ka, nagbi-bleed ang pasyente, ini-scrape mo kaagad, spotting siya. Yung pala, buntis. Okay? This is what we will tell you. There is Arya-Stellar reaction, which means that the patient is pregnant. Baka pwedeng hindi mo muna yan in-scrape kung nagpa-ultrasound ka muna or nagpa-preg test ka. Okay? So, ulitin ko ha. There is a change called Arya-Stellar reaction, which is specific for or implicative for pregnancy. Now, the DUB, this looks like a busy slide, but this is what I'm trying to tell you. When you're looking at DUB, it simply means that your biopsy does not correlate with your LMP. That's one. Number 2, you have abnormal bleeding that is prolonged, or you have irregular bleeding. Okay? 2 weeks ka magme-meds, and then wala kang meds, next month, 1 month ka ulit. Next month, wala kang meds, sa susunod na buwan, 2 weeks ka ulit. Okay? So in short, that's irregular. Kung nag-bleed ka naman, you are using around, let's say, 7 napkins per day. That's abnormal. Okay, that's too much. So these are the causes wherein the patient comes forward to the OB and is now labeled or worked up as under DUB or AUB. AUB can can have a lot of causes. One, it can be hormonal. It can be infectious. It can be tumor. Okay? Tumor, like benign ones, polyp, or myoma. I'm going to tackle each one, and I'm gonna do first endometrial glandular stromal breakdown. When you say endometrial glandular stromal breakdown, from the term itself, the glands are fragmented like this. And you have what you call as stromal balls, which is this. So typical case, the LMP tells me that the patient is in the proliferative. So what am I supposed to see? As I have told you, proliferative is supposed to be tubular-shaped glands, dense stroma. But instead, I'm seeing this. So there is a disconnect on the LMP data and what I'm seeing in the tissues. That tells you, I'm gonna call the OB and say that more likely you're looking at a hormonal problem because I'm not seeing estrogen effect. I'm seeing like menstrual endometrium when I'm supposed to see estrogen effect. So how are you going to go about that? OB will usually do further workup. Like what? Hormone assays. LH, FSH, estrogen, progesterone. Bakit gagawin yun? Because FSH and LH are reflective of hypothalamic pituitary axis. And estrogen and progesterone are reflective of ovarian function. So you have to add your hormonal assay. Kakaintindihan ba tayo? So ulit ha. Ano na yung workup mo? Nag-umpisa ka lang sa PAPS. Diba? And then gumawa ka ng ultrasound. And then naglagay ka ng preg test. And then nag-biopsy ka. Okay? Lumabas ang biopsy, hindi siya congruent. Okay? You may have to do hormonal assays. Baseline, F8, FSH, LH, estrogen, and progesterone. Okay, now, this is an example of disordered proliferative. You see a lot of tubular, di ba pag proliferative, sabi natin, tubular-shaped glands. Pero again, why am I having cystically dilated glands? So that tells you also, again, you have to call the OB and said, bakit ganon? Or inflammation. So when you say inflammation, usually patients do have discharge. So when we see endometritis, we will then advise the OB to do culture and sensitivity because to identify the etiologic agent. If it is acute, you see neutrophils. If it's chronic, you actually see plasma cells and lymphocytes. So endometritis necessitates culture and sensitivity of the discharge. Okay? Ulit ha. So pagka hormonal, ano nga, isipin mo, kailangan magkaroon ka ng hormone level assay. FSH, LH, estrogen, progesterone. Pagka naman ganito, ano gagawin mo? You have to have culture of the discharge to identify the organism. So like this is an example of actinomyces which we can see on tissue sections. Okay, endometriosis is, ewan ko kung meron sa inyo, malamang meron, but I will not ask you of course to raise your hands, yung nagdidysmenorrhea. Okay? If you're having dysmenorrhea during your period, baka meron kang endometriosis or adenomyosis. Endometriosis, from the theories here, is actually telling you that the inflammation that's happening in your endometrium when you bleed is actually happening on the ectopic sites. Okay? So, ano yung ectopic sites? Ang haba ng sinulat ko, isang paragraph halos. Eto. Okay? These are the sites in which you can have ectopic endometrial glands and stroma. Ovaries, uterine ligaments, cul-de-sac, peritoneum, etc., even the skin. When you bleed in the endometrium, they also bleed. Okay? How do you diagnose them? You take a biopsy and you see endometrial glands and stroma. When it is seen embedded within the myometrium, that is what you call as adenomyosis. Okay? So ulit ha, endometriosis is occurring in all of these sites. When it is embedded in between the myometrium, that's what you call as adenomyosis. Okay, I'm looking at my watch and I think we have to stop. It's 9:50. So, remind me next week that I will start here. I'll come back for you 7 to 8. Anyway, bless you. Dr. De Matero said that he does not intend to come as early as 7. So we will just use the 1 hour instead of doing now. Oh, Dr. De Matero is an afternoon person, di ba? Siguro alam niyo na yun. So I can wake up at 6. So I'll see you at 7 next week. Okay? So thank you. Just remind me na dito tayo. Salamat. Bye-bye. Can I have the attendant?